Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, the Rumpled One, coming to you on Friday, March the 4th. The year's 2022. Let's talk trading. It's time for the weekly wrap up. And I just remembered, it's also NFP Day. I hope everybody had fun with the NFP. Just remember, these videos are for educational purposes only. Your results may differ from mine. So we're talking about the weekly wrap up. Let's look at the weekly chart. As you can see, we turned a green week into a red week. We're 100 pips below the weekly open, 227 off the high, and only 8 above the low at the moment. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4 gaps that did not fill this week. You can see here, if you look left, you're in some wick zones. So you might expect price to come back next week. We busted out of the opening range for the week and the opening range for the month. You can see that right there. We are 315 pips below the yearly open, making a new low for the year. You can see we're kind of close to last year's low right there. Big red candle for the day. A lot of inside bar action on the monthlies. Lot of pairs over 100 pips in range. I'm not so sure that it was the NFP or if it's Russian news, but you can see a lot of pairs are definitely below their open. Only one pair is 100 pips above its open today. New Zealand Canadian. The buy zone, basically all shorting. Crossed that weekly open at 33.10. Sayonara. Goodbye. So for those of you trading the weekly open or daily open, once again, simple horizontal lines. Once they get put in place, they don't move, and there's profit to be had. Green rats, get ready. Range is definitely large enough here. Notice we're in the weekly lower rat zone, monthly lower rat zone, and the daily lower rat zone. So this is the lowest rat zone for the week. Pivot, price near pivot is a short. We didn't even touch the pivot. Near S1 was a long. While it bounced there once, twice, third time didn't hold, it cracked. And you can see we're bouncing off of S3 right here. Okay, monthly pivot hasn't been hit. Weekly pivot hasn't been hit. And the daily pivot hasn't been hit. So today we've got 3 missed pivots here for the month of March. In and out of that lower daily wick zone. And the range, very, very interesting here. Not as much range as last week, but still a good range, over 200 pips for the week. We didn't crack the high. We busted the low, last week's low, by 71 pips. But definitely a respectable weekly range. Once again, close minus the low right now is at 18, high minus close to 17. For the buy zone traders, high minus open 126, open minus low 109. So once again, trading that weekly open crossover or weekly buy zone can prove to be profitable. The simple price action here with the Walmart lines, once again, just basically trading what you see in the direction of the candle color. And as mentioned before, I've kind of dropped down to the M30 because if the weekly or if the hourly candle reverses, a lot of times it will reverse at the bottom of the hour. And you can pretty much see that here. So this was the first part of the hour, and then you see here it reversed and came back. So that is another play or little wrinkle in the wall method. For those of you still looking to be profitable using the wall method. And the higher low, lower high, it's definitely it's almost like a video game. In fact, Walmall said he was using the indicator 2 on his phone, and he was trading it like a video game. Just, price was just ping-ponging back and forth. And you can see here we've got a lower high trigger. So there was one trade that was good for about almost 8 or 9 pips right there. Then you see it came back down, actually gave you a second opportunity to come in. Then you had another opportunity here to get long at this lower high, and you can see it be paying off once again. And so this is something that I like to do using the lower high, higher low. You can see here this short that triggered. Your stop would have never been threatened, and it dropped nicely. You could have picked up 10 pips or more. Notice one thing though, for you traders, talk about patience a lot. Notice this drop here. This is 5, 10, 15, almost 20 minutes to bring in those pips. So you have to be able to sit on your hands for, 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes or more sometimes to make those pips. I mean, here you've got 5 minutes or less from here to here. Those are the types of trades that maybe you are hoping for, where you can get your pips in 5 minutes or less. But sometimes if you want bigger pips, you might just have to wait a little bit longer. And trust me, I know it is very, very, very difficult sometimes to put a trade on and watch that P&L bounce up and down, or down, down, and then up. So that's just something that is part of trading. It's something you're not going to avoid. And we had the first trading day of each month. And so you can see here once again, for this one, we broke out of that month, that first day of the month low once again. Very simple chart there. I'm trying to remember if there was any other questions out there. Yeah, I've been coding. Some people have sent some coding requests. They're all in the inbox. I haven't forgotten you. Some things sometimes take longer than others. I have things other than trading, so I haven't forgotten you. You just have to be patient, and usually I'll get around to it, or I'll direct you somewhere else. In fact, somebody asked me about coding TradeStation Easy language, and I said I haven't coded that since the early 2000s. It's been over a decade, so I'm not sure what code of mine still functions. I don't know what they've changed. I know somebody was using the show me, and they were wondering about how the functions work. And if I remember correctly, there's like a separate functions folder or ELD or something where you load your functions in there, and then you can call them from any program. Yeah, I really wished MT4 had it because it really made indicators more versatile because you could use the functions as inputs, and in that way you could make almost any indicator do anything you want it to do. Especially just things that plot or throw up a gauge or something, display a gauge. But you can just notice the price action here. We are definitely range bound again. And we've been talking about trading better, and part of it is just really um, waiting for your trade. So I'm going to call it, you have to talk yourself out of entering. Find a reason not to enter, like, nope, that's not my trader. No, I'm going to wait for it to come down below this lower high and actually close below it before I enter the trade. Or I definitely don't want to say go long above this line. I want to get in somewhere around this line before I go long. So you can see here, it made a higher low and reversed. A higher low and reverse, so maybe it'll make a higher low and reverse once again. But we still have 2 minutes in this candle, so you might tell yourself, you know what, this is a bearish candle. I want to go long, but I'm going to let that candle close, and it just might give me a better price. So you just have to wait for 1 minute and 47 seconds for this candle to close. Now, this candle could turn around and become bullish, and you say, oh, I knew I should have, but nope, that's hairy hindsight. So we have a plan. We're going to stick to it. And if we don't get the trade, oh well. It looks like this candle's going up here in this last minute. In fact, we've got two green candles in a row, or two bullish candles in a row. And in this last candle, we are actually 5 pips above that open. But we still have over 1 minute left. Anything can happen. So you see here, it did drop down, and we are, over 3 pips. So there was a chance to get your 3 pips, but you had to be quick, had to be decisive, and you had to be happy to take them and not think, oh, well, maybe I'll get even more. Right now, it just went from 3 to 1.9, just that quick. So that's the kind of price action that has been exhibiting, or the pound's been exhibiting, the past few trading days. It's just something you need to be aware of, and something you can either exploit or avoid. If you don't like that type of price action, then don't trade that type of price action. So now we've got the new candle, and it's in the middle of this zone here, kind of the middle of this range, just eyeballing it. Not a good place to enter, because if it could go your way, could go against you, but something that I probably wouldn't want to do. So a lot of times I'll use this close minus open multimeter to let me know how close price is to going bullish or bearish. So you can see we've got this new M5, M1, they're the same. But you see M15, we're like 5 below the open. The 30, we're only 3 or so. H1, 6 at the moment. So we're still trying to swim upstream against the current if you want to go long here. So chances are, this half hour is going to end in about 8.5 minutes or so. So I would just wait and see what happens. So, fellow traders, I hope you had a profitable week. Hope you had fun on NFP Day. And remember, it's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. So go out there and drain the banks. This is TheRumpledOne over and out. Have a fun and safe weekend.